Imagine this for a moment. Right now, inside your skull, billions of neurons are firing electrical signals. They're helping you think, remember, focus, and imagine. Your brain is one of the most energy-hungry organs you have. Even though it's only about 2% of your body weight, it eats up nearly 20% of your total energy every single day. And whenever energy is consumed, waste is produced. Your brain is no exception. Every thought you have, every memory you access, every moment of concentration creates metabolic byproducts. These include things like adenosine, lactate, and even potentially toxic compounds like beta-amyloid. Normally, these molecules need to be cleared out efficiently. If they build up, they start messing with your brain's signaling and overall health. But here's the fascinating part. For most of history, scientists couldn't figure out how the brain cleaned itself. The rest of your body has the lymphatic system, a network of vessels that carries waste away from organs. But the brain seemed to be missing this system entirely. For decades, neuroscientists were stumped. How could the brain work so hard without a powerful waste removal system? Then, just in the last decade, researchers made a discovery that completely changed how we understand brain health. Hidden deep inside is a sophisticated, fluid-based cleaning network, now known as the glymphatic system. And remarkably, this system switches on primarily while you sleep. To understand how amazing this is, picture your brain as a massive city. During the day, the city is buzzing with activity. Cars rush through the streets, factories are running, and millions of people are on the move. But all that activity creates waste. Trash piles up, exhaust fills the air, and the whole city gets polluted by its own productivity. Now, imagine trying to clean that city while traffic is still moving. It's impossible. Garbage trucks can't get through, and sanitation workers can't access the sidewalks. So instead, the city waits. Late at night, when the streets are empty, the cleaning crews move in. Garbage trucks flood the roads, street sweepers clear debris, and the entire city gets a massive cleaning before morning. Your brain operates in a very similar way. During the day, it's constantly processing information, generating thoughts, and keeping you aware. In this active state, the spaces between your brain cells are pretty tight. There just isn't enough room for large amounts of fluid to move freely. But when you enter deep sleep, something incredible happens. The entire architecture of your brain subtly changes. Special support cells, called astrocytes, actually shrink a little, which expands the tiny spaces between neurons. This creates microscopic channels that allow fluid to move through your brain tissue much more easily. At the same time, cerebrospinal fluid, the clear liquid that cushions your brain, starts flowing into these channels, and that's when the brain's cleaning system kicks into high gear. Cerebrospinal fluid, or CSF, is crucial for your nervous system. It surrounds your brain and spinal cord, acting as a protective cushion and a chemical stabilizer. But during deep sleep, it does so much more. This fluid begins to move through the brain in rhythmic pulses, traveling along specialized pathways right next to your blood vessels. As CSF moves through these channels, it mixes with the fluid that's already between your neurons. This mixing process allows the CSF to capture the metabolic waste that your brain cells produced all day. Once these waste molecules are collected, the fluid carries them out of the brain and into drainage pathways that connect to the body's main waste removal systems. Essentially, your brain gets a nightly wash cycle. Fluid flows in, collects toxins, and carries them away. Some researchers even describe it as a high-pressure rinse. And this rinse is incredibly powerful. Advanced imaging has shown that the volume of fluid moving through the brain increases dramatically during deep sleep, sometimes by as much as 60% compared to when you're awake. This isn't random. It's coordinated by the rhythms of sleep itself. During the deepest stages of sleep, known as slow-wave sleep, your brain produces large electrical oscillations called delta waves. These slow waves sweep across the brain, signaling that large groups of neurons are resting together. But they also seem to orchestrate the movement of fluid. As the slow waves travel, they trigger rhythmic expansions and contractions in brain tissue. These movements create gentle pressure gradients that help push the cerebrospinal fluid through the brain's cleaning channels. It's almost like your brain is operating a biological pump. Electrical rhythms guide fluid movement. The fluid collects waste, and the waste gets carried away. Without this nightly cleaning cycle, toxic substances would start to accumulate. And that's where this story becomes critically important. One of the most concerning molecules that can build up is beta-amyloid. It's a protein fragment that forms naturally, and under healthy conditions, the brain clears it out. But if it starts to build up, it can clump together to form sticky plaques. These plaques are one of the hallmarks of Alzheimer's disease. For years, scientists focused on how these plaques damage neurons. But now, research suggests the problem might start much earlier, with a failure of the brain's cleaning system. If the glymphatic system can't remove beta-amyloid effectively, the fragments accumulate, form clusters, then plaques, and these plaques interfere with communication between neurons. In other words, the long-term health of your brain might heavily depend on how well this nightly cleaning process works. And one of the most powerful factors influencing it is something we often take for granted: sleep. Many people think of sleep as just a passive state, a time for the brain to shut down and recover energy. But we now know it's an active biological maintenance period. During deep sleep, your brain is performing essential tasks it can't do while you're awake. It's consolidating memories, reorganizing neural connections, and balancing hormones. And most importantly, it's physically cleaning itself. Without enough deep sleep, the glymphatic system can't operate at full capacity. The consequences can appear surprisingly quickly. Even a single night of poor sleep can increase the levels of beta-amyloid in your brain. Multiple studies have shown that people with chronic sleep disruption often have more of these proteins over time. This doesn't mean missing one night of sleep will cause a neurodegenerative disease, but it does show how vital sleep is for maintaining the brain's chemical balance. So what exactly triggers this nightly cleaning cycle? A key factor is deep, slow-wave sleep. This is the stage where your brain produces those large, synchronized delta waves. Neurons fire in slow, rhythmic patterns, allowing entire brain networks to rest. But these electrical rhythms also coordinate fluid movement. They influence blood flow and tissue expansion, helping to drive cerebrospinal fluid deeper into the brain. Without these slow waves, the cleaning system becomes less effective. This is why fragmented sleep is so harmful. Even if you spend 8 hours in bed, waking up repeatedly can interrupt your slow-wave sleep cycles. When that happens, the glymphatic system can't do a full clean. You might feel rested on the surface, but internally, the nightly rinse was incomplete. This also helps explain a common feeling: brain fog. After a night of poor sleep, you might feel mentally sluggish, find it hard to concentrate, and your memory might feel unreliable. One possible reason is a temporary buildup of metabolic waste. When the glymphatic system doesn't fully activate, substances like adenosine can remain elevated, affecting how efficiently your brain processes information. Brain fog might not just be fatigue. It could be a sign that your brain's cleaning cycle didn't finish. The discovery of the glymphatic system has transformed how scientists think about brain health. It's not just an electrical network, it's a fluid ecosystem. The movement of CSF, the balance of waste, and the health of these pathways all contribute to long-term cognitive resilience. And the most fascinating part is how closely it's all tied to sleep. Every night, as you drift into deep sleep, your brain activates this sophisticated hydraulic cleaning system. Fluid flows, toxins are collected, and the neural environment is restored for the next day. Sleep, therefore, isn't just rest, it's maintenance, it's repair. It's the biological sanitation system that protects one of the most complex organs in the universe. The more we learn about this hidden plumbing, the more we realize that sleep may be one of the most powerful tools we have for protecting our cognitive health. In our next video, we'll dive even deeper, exploring how the brain transforms into a biological pressure washer during deep sleep. We'll look at the specialized water channels that help drive this powerful flow. Once you understand how your brain cleans itself, you'll see sleep in a completely different way. Not as lost time, but as the most important maintenance your brain performs every single day. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe for more.